Okay, welcome to kind of an impromptu video for me, but it's one that I'm really looking forward to making actually. It's kind of on the fly thing today. I wasn't planning on making a video, but this morning I found this channel that I really liked, and the guy's name is, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, or at least get close, Daisuke Beppu, maybe a little bit, but anyway, I'll leave a link to his channel down below so you can go check it out. Highly recommend his channel. I got kind of notified by a few people actually over the past couple of weeks about him because of his Criterion collection, which is what this video is about. My Criterion collection. But anyway, back to that. People were telling me, oh, there's this guy on YouTube and he's got a complete Criterion collection. And my first reaction was, sure, he's got a complete Criterion collection. Maybe he's got all the Blu-rays, but he hasn't got the whole collection, like all the DVDs, all the Eclipse box sets. There's no way. Checked his channel and yeah, he's got everything. It's pretty ridiculous. So I was very surprised that this story that I heard from a few people turned out to be true, that someone actually has collected and bought and acquired every single title in the Criterion collection, both from the, I think he has every DVD and Blu-ray, I'm not too sure, but he at least has every title, and then I think he has all the laser discs as well. Crazy collection, even more impressive that apparently he says he's seen most of them, which for me and my collection is something of a flaw, I think. I'd really like to know like a statistic, like of all the movies I own on Blu-ray, how many have I seen? Because I'd be willing to kind of bet that it's definitely more than half I own that I haven't seen, I think. Maybe not that bad, I don't know. Anyway, so been watching his channel, and also I highly recommend checking out his channel, not just because of his collection, but I really like his style of talking about movies and things. Very calm and kind of collected and casual as well. Just really, yeah, well thought out stuff, and really enjoys videos. Anyway, so this video will be me going through my Criterion collection, which is here on the shelf. And I had only thought about it today, really. His channel's got me in a very Criterion kind of mood, which, I love Criterion, one of my favourite labels, if not my favourite label, I think. And now that I've moved over from Norway back to the UK, for the first time I have all my Criterions in one place. So I guess the brief story about my beginnings with the Criterion collection came from when I was a teenager and I watched Rushmore for the first time. Loved it. Got the DVD and was very disappointed to see there wasn't really many special features. Then I found out online there's this thing called the Criterion Collection in America that released Rushmore with boatloads of special features, commentary, behind the scenes, and I really wanted it. But it was like I was a teenager, I was like, oh, I need a credit card, so it just seemed so impossible. Many years later, when I first got into Blu-ray, and in fact the YouTube community, Robbie Webster, Robbie, we miss you, come back and make some more videos. He sent me an amazing gift, and that was Rushmore on Blu-ray for the Criterion collection, my first Criterion. So blown away by it, couldn't even watch it, but I was just so happy, and that actually gave me the push to go and buy a region-free Blu-ray player. I bought a Blu-ray player, and then I kind of made it region-free myself, and then came Seven Samurai, and and so on and so on. So that started my Criterion collection, but it's been, I guess, 6 years since I got the first one, and I have, I think, just under 60 titles. That's titles. I think I have like, maybe over 100 movies, because there's like the Zatoichi set, which has 25. But as far as standalone titles, I think it's just under 70. And I got 4 new ones last week as well. So I'm going to show you the ones on the shelf, talk a little bit about each of them, and hopefully this will be a fun video. So here we go. Okay, so here's the collection. If you haven't seen my previous video showing off the kind of collection and the order of everything, what I've done with my Criterions, I don't put them in spine number order. I'm certainly never going to come close to even completing any kind of run of the spine numbers, so I keep them in chronological order from the silent era up to present day-ish, and then from there I have kind of director collections. So we got Chaplin, Kieslowski, Linklater, Bergman, Lynch, Anderson, Kurosawa. In no real particular order there, but yeah, so that's kind of the weird kind of method to the madness, and hopefully the lighting isn't too bad for this. So, and also I have all my Blu-rays kind of flush against the shelf, so it looks really nice, but I'm sure when I pull them off the shelf I'm going to kind of disrupt that a little bit. Anyway, let's get on with it before I completely melt. This heat is still absolutely killing me here in the UK. So, the first one we have is The Phantom Carriage by Victor Sjöström. fantastic film. Was in my top 50 greatest movies ever series that I just completed, where I talk a bit more about this, but fantastic film, kind of I know it's kind of like a morality fable, but very dark, and you know, incredible cinematography, a great story, just yeah, creepy kind of ghost story as well as all those things, and a really nice release. Then we have Safety Last, classic Harold Lloyd film, where it's kind of highlighted by the sequence at the end where he climbs up the outside of a building and hangs off a clock. Great film. This Criterion also has a feature-length documentary on Harold Lloyd. It's one of the Brownlow documentaries. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to watching it on probably a rainy day or something. There we go, we have a casualty already. Phantom Carriage has gone right to the back of the shelf. Another Harold Lloyd film, Speedy. This was really good. I enjoyed this one a lot. Just great, wacky, manic fun. I really wish that they'd release The Kid Brother. That's my favourite Harold Lloyd film, and I'd love to see that in the collection. Then we have the complete Jean Vigo, kind of, I guess, highlighted with the feature-length film L'Atalante. Really bad pronunciation there, but it has all of his films, 3 shorts and then the feature-length, which is a really good film. But I do feel like Jean Vigo, if he hadn't died so young tragically, he would have gone on to be a true master of cinema. But yeah, it just, yeah, I really enjoyed them, but I felt like it was the beginnings of a great career, and he didn't quite kind of get to that level that you know, would have been really special. Then we have Fritz Lang's M, incredible film. Love Fritz Lang as well. Just a fantastic film, really good. It's great to see how Fritz Lang kind of transitioned to the sound era with that movie. Then we have the classic, Hollywood classic, It Happened One Night. Really enjoyed this one, Frank Capra. And I actually counted how many of these I've actually seen, and I think I've seen just over half of them, just over 40 films. Or I guess it would be more like 65 films, because I've seen all the Zatoichi movies. But as far as the titles, I've seen more than half the ones I own, which I was quite surprised by, to be honest. Then we have Stagecoach, John Ford, classic western. Not too keen on all the horses getting hurt in the film, but kind of is what it is. John Wayne's iconic introduction to Hollywood history, I suppose, in a way. Right, this is even going back on the shelf now. This is, there we go. Jean Renoir's Rules of the Game. Haven't seen this yet. I just watched A Day in the Country, which was interesting, so looking forward to seeing a more expanded Renoir film. Only Angels Have Wings by Howard Hawks. Love this film. So good, so enjoyable. I'm going to review it at some point, and I've really become a fan of Howard Hawks in recent years. And speaking of Howard Hawks, we've got His Girl Friday. Really enjoyable screwball comedy. I prefer Bringing Up Baby. I'd love to see that. I think, is that getting a release? I'm not too sure. It should get a release. Bringing Up Baby is awesome, but this is pretty good too. Really enjoyed this one. And this is another one I haven't seen up here. Here Comes Mr. Jordan. Don't really know too much about that one. I think it's something to do with heaven and an angel or something like that. Not too sure. Another Fritz Lang film, Ministry of Fear. Haven't seen this one yet. I'm really kind of, what's the word? I've got a lot of gaps on Fritz Lang when it comes to the sound era. I'm pretty well versed in his silent films though. The Uninvited. Oh, this is probably, it's one of my favorite ghost story movies. It really surprised me. It's not incredible or anything, but it's a really well done ghost story. I just was really drawn in by the atmosphere of that film. It really impressed me. Mildred Pierce, Joan Crawford. Haven't seen this one yet. Bogart film, In a Lonely Place. This is a really good, I guess you could kind of call it film noir, but either way he gives a great performance in the film. I've reviewed this one in the 1001 Movies series. Life of Oharu, Mizoguchi film. I think I've seen 3 Mizoguchi films, including Igetsu and, oh, what's the other one? Sancho Dayu. Haven't seen this one yet. Quite like Mizoguchi's films, need to get into more of them. Classic monster movie here, Godzilla, and one of my favorite kind of packaging for a Blu-ray ever with the fold-out Godzilla. That's really cool. And I love the original Godzilla. It's really a fun movie. Samurai Trilogy. Love these films, can't wait to see them again. It's been many years. We have Musashi Miyamoto, Duel at Ichi-Jojo Temple, and Duel at Ganryu Island. Again, probably bad pronunciation, but Toshiro Mifune playing a historical samurai figure. Can't go wrong. Really, really good movies. Don't want to ruin the Godzilla slipcase, I'll just put that on top for now. 12 Angry Men. Henry Fonda, lots of other great actors as well, directed by Sidney Lumet. Haven't seen this one yet. I know it's an all-time classic. I'll get to it. Ballad of Narayama. I prefer this to the Imamura version, which I saw first and loved, but when I saw this one by Kinoshita, there's something about this that's so special, and I highly recommend anyone to check it out if they get the chance. L'Avventura. This one's by Antonioni, who I have many of his films because there's plenty in the massive cinema collection, but haven't seen any of them yet. Harakiri. This is a Kobayashi film starring Tetsuya Nakadai. Oh, this is an incredible film. Absolutely loved it. I think I saw it 4 years ago, so it's been a while. I really need to rewatch it, but the imprint that left on me is, I still feel it now. You know, it's one of those films where it's just still so fresh many years later because it's just that damn good. The amazing Zatoichi collection, just one of my all-time favorite releases, period. Forget even the Criterion collection, this thing's just beautiful. Absolutely love it. I've seen all the films, watched all the extras, read the book, and I filmed a very, very long kind of marathon series going through everything, including the 26th movie, which I had to get from Arrow Video. They have a DVD release of it. Still haven't finished editing that video yet because it's going to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours long, and who the hell's going to even watch it? So not really prioritizing it, but I have kind of vlogged watching all the Zatoichi movies, and I love them so much. There's a few in there that aren't too good, but there's some great ones in there. Particularly my favorites are the 7th, 8th, and 9th movie. There's a great little run there towards the, not even the middle, but, you know, I really wouldn't have thought that it would pick up in like the 7th movie, you know, because the first couple are really good, and then, you know, maybe some of the others aren't as good, so I was quite surprised that it was the number 7, 8, and 9 that really stood out to me. And going along very nicely with that, not chronologically, but because they're quite closely linked, we have the Lone Wolf and Cub collection. Of course, Katsu's brother playing the lead role in this. Is another fantastic release. Stunning artwork and great extras as well. I also marathoned those. I have my marathon video of that collection, all 6/7 movies, up on my channel. 3 Outlaw Samurai, haven't seen this one yet. Keen to check it out. I think you pronounce Kaidan, I think is how you pronounce this. Kobayashi film, so I'm really excited to check it out, but haven't yet. The Graduate, one of the best films I think I've ever seen. Just one of the best examples of using music in a movie as far as actual kind of songs, not like a score. They really knew what they were doing when they were making this film as far as the editing and the music timing and everything like that, but also great performances and all the other good stuff. The Immigrants and The New Land. These are 2 Swedish films that follow the same characters played by, oh, what's their names? That's really Liv Ullmann, of course, and Max von Sydow, who have played kind of a married couple in many different movies, including in Bergman's filmography. But that's not; these aren't Bergman films. Who did these actually? Jean Troel. Probably a bad pronunciation there too. Andrei Tarkovsky film, Solaris. Haven't seen this one yet. Another legendary director, Francois Truffaut, Day for Night. Haven't seen this one yet. Really keen to watch this one because it's about the making of a movie. Overlord. I still know nothing about this one, but it was on eBay for like £4 sealed. So it's just one of those things with Criterion, buying it cheap. You know, from what I can tell, it's about D-Day. So something I need to be more well versed in, I think, is World War II. This is one that I'm really keen to check out because I love Columbo and, by extension, Peter Falk, and I love Alan Arkin. I think they're both really funny and really enjoy their work, so seeing them together is going to be a lot of fun, but it's just one of those ones where I'm just waiting for the right time. And same for this, really. It's a film I'm so keen to check out, and that's Blowout. I really love Brian De Palma's films. I'm a big fan of John Travolta, and I really like Nancy Allen in the films I've seen her in, so I'm just, again, there's many films that I'm really looking forward to checking out, and I kind of just wait for the right moment. Sometimes it never seems to strike, but sometimes it does. Blood Simple by the Coen brothers. Haven't seen this one yet, but a big fan of the Coen brothers and the films I've seen from them. Tampopo by Juzo Itami. I fucking love this film. There's a few things in it I don't like the turtle killing, but I mean it's one of the wackiest and most fun films I've ever seen, and this release has one of my favorite making of documentaries ever. 90-minute making of. It just goes into every aspect of production and just is so inspiring to me as far as making films. Just so good. Brighter Summer Day by Edward Yang. Really looking forward to, again, finding the right kind of rainy day possibly to check that one out. Fisher King, much in the same. Terry Gilliam, love Terry Gilliam, love Jeff Bridges, love Robin Williams. Can't wait to check it out. Never seen it, but it's just waiting for the right moment. In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. I don't know if I want to call it overrated. I certainly appreciate it hugely, but it was, I wish I loved it more than I did. I reviewed this for the 1001 Movies series last year during Asian cinema season. Punch Drunk Love, I'll leave that one in for free. Adam Sandler. Paul Thomas Anderson, really a big fan of his films, but haven't seen this one yet. And Adam Sandler, just not a big fan. But it always does seem like the best comedic actors are really good dramatic actors, but I can't say I've ever been that impressed by Adam Sandler as a comedic actor, so I'm still not sold. But I've heard he is very good in it. Squid the Whale by Noah Baumbach, who I really like actually, and this one has a really good cast, so another one I'm looking forward to getting to at some point. So that's kind of my just generic, not that any of these films are generic, but you know, just the standard kind of chronological order. Then we get to director section. So we got the two Chaplins that I own. I'd love to have all the other ones. The Gold Rush, great silent comedy from Chaplin. I far prefer the silent version, even though it's quite fun to hear his voice over narration in the re-release version he did many years later. We have Limelight from 1952, one of my favorite films of all time, and for my money, one of the best films I've ever seen. Hugely underrated, I think. Just a fantastic film about life, love, art, and how it all works together. And I just, yeah, this film was just a revelation to me, and yeah, absolutely love it. I love everything about it. We have the Krzysztof Kieslowski movies in the collection. The Double Life of Veronique, a very beautiful film, but a very perplexing one at the same time. Definitely one to go back to. Then we have the Three Colors trilogy, which is a phenomenal set. It really, really is. I'm not going to take them out of the box. You can find unboxings if you really want to see it, but really nice set, and just a really interesting collection of three stories. Blue is great, you know, it's a very haunting look at grief and loss and isolation. White, I think, is kind of the red-headed stepchild of the trilogy, doesn't get as much credit as I think it probably deserves. And Red is just a masterpiece. I think that's a phenomenal movie. I love how they tie together, but at the same time it's not really like these three films are helped by being linked. It just kind of is a nice bonus, I think. Then we have the Before Trilogy, which is like a dream release for me for many years. Three of my favorite films of all time from one of my favorite directors ever. On any given day, either three of the films could be my favorite of the three. Just an incredible piece of work, I think. All three very different films, but with one constant, that being the great writing and performing from all three of those guys. You know, you got Julie Delpy, Ethan Hawke, and Richard Linklater. They all wrote the second two movies together. And yeah, the first one to me is like, it's about the excitement and the magic of that first connection you make with someone romantically. The second one is about kind of the regret and the excitement, perhaps, of reconnecting with someone romantically after a very long time. And then Before Midnight is about the realities of long-term relationships, I think. So it's a really interesting triptych of stories, all featuring the same characters, which is really well done. And then we have Boyhood, Another one of my favorite films, along with those three films as well. Just a huge Linklater fan in general. Awesome, awesome film, which definitely divides a lot of people, which is fine, I suppose. Then we have a couple of Bergman films. I know there's a lot of them in the Criterion collection. I only have two, which is the Seventh Seal, which is a phenomenal film. And I got quite a bit of flack for not including this in my 50 Greatest Movies series, but it definitely was close to making the list. We have Fanny and Alexander, which I've heard very mixed things about. I'm really looking forward to it, but I know someone who absolutely hates it, which makes me want to watch it even more, I think. We have the David Lynch kind of collection here. We have Eraserhead, which is... I don't know. If I called it weird, I'd just be going along with the crowd, but it really is just weird. But there's something so intriguing about it. It's a really weird one. I need to see it again. I watched it on Filmstruck, so I need to obviously crack open the Blu-ray and check it out. But yeah, really, really good. We have Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Oh, such a huge fan of Twin Peaks and of this film. I think this film is just a dark, kind of beautiful, horrible masterpiece. There's just something very special and horrifying about this film that, yeah. I need to get around to editing my the rest of my Twin Peaks Journey videos, because I review this like as soon as I first watched it. And I've since seen it again, I think 2 more times. Anyway, the one I haven't seen from the Lynch is Mulholland Drive, which is one I'm just, again, really sitting on for the right moment. Then we have the Wes Anderson collection. I really want to complete this as soon as I can. We have Bottle Rocket, which is one of my absolute favorite Wes Anderson films. Just so funny, so funny. Then we have Rushmore. This is the first one, the first holy Criterion in my collection, and yeah, real special film to me. It's in my top 10 of all time, and I love all the extras and stuff that get included on these Wes Anderson releases. We have the Royal Tenenbaums, which is another film I love. I actually went to visit the Tenenbaum house a few years ago, which was really cool. The Darjeeling Limited, I love this one too. I'm really looking forward to revisiting this one now I've become a fan of Satyajit Ray's films, because I'm sure I'm going to see some kind of, if not homages or tributes, but certainly a thematic kind of echoing through some of this film from his movies. I know that Wes Anderson is quite a big fan of Satyajit Ray, and it certainly shows, I think, in the film. From memory, at least, because it's such a celebration of the country of India, and I'm sure I've seen him in an interview talking about Ray's films. Anyway, Fantastic Mr. Fox. This film just grows on me more and more and more. When I first saw it, I thought it was just okay, and now I just absolutely love it. And I really, really hope we get to see Grand Budapest Hotel and Isle of Dogs in the collection at some point. It would be nice to have a complete Wes Anderson set, and maybe even include some of the shorts that he's done. And finally, we have the Kurosawa collection, probably the pride and joy, I think, of the Criterion collection for me. Huge Kurosawa fan. Rashomon, absolute masterpiece. Seven Samurai, the greatest film of all time in my opinion, and one of my favorite Blu-ray releases, just absolutely stunning. It's definitely, that would be in my kind of top 5, if not top 3 editions that I own, purely because the film's so great, but also it's a great release. And then we have Ikiru, which is just... Wait, when was this released? 1952. That's in the wrong order. It should be before Seven Samurai. Ikiru, which is such a different film from something like Seven Samurai. I love the variety in Kurosawa's filmography. Hidden Fortress, which I still think kind of gets a little bit explained away as the original Star Wars. It really isn't, but there is some kind of echoings there if you look back from what George Lucas did. But it's such a great kind of adventure film, and yeah, the cinematography in that film in particular is fantastic, because it's the first time Kurosawa used widescreen, and you can just tell that this is a visual master playing around with something new for the first time, and the results are just stunning. You have the Yojimbo Sanjuro double pack, which is really, really nice. Love those films, particularly the first one, though the ending of Sanjuro is just incredible. High and Low, this is underrated, phenomenal film, just so good. The first half of it just takes place in one room, and the tension is just off the charts. Kagemusha, talked about this kind of in depth in my Kurosawa in Color marathon last year. Really, really loved this one. And then finally we get to Dreams. which is an incredible film. I absolutely love this one, and watching all of his kind of color movies was really quite a revelation to me. I think that Kurosawa's color movies don't quite get the credit they deserve. I think he did some incredible stuff. Knowing how old he was when he made this film in particular is really just stunning. I think this is an amazing film, and highly would recommend it. Now, that's kind of the ones on the shelf. I recently picked up 4 more, so I have them here with some nice lovely glare. Let's try and get rid of that. There we go. We have the Philadelphia Story, which has Katharine Hepburn and my light reflecting off of it. Let's try and get a good... Oh my god, it's the window from there, it's the light from there. Let's go from... There we go. That's decent enough. So yeah, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn, who were so great together in Bringing Up Baby. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two together, but also James Stewart, who's one of my favourite actors. Really can't wait to check this one out. Then we have Tarkovsky. I've only seen Andrei Rublev from Tarkovsky's filmography, so looking forward to checking out Stalker and Solaris in due course. Then we have Sword of Doom, which I've heard isn't like the best movie of all time, but Tatsuya Nakadai and Toshiro Mifune in a samurai movie, yes please, sign me up. And then finally we have another Edward Yang film. I believe this is pronounced Yi, not Yi. Either way, looking forward to this one. I just have a feeling I'm really going to like Edward Yang's stuff. So there we go, that's it. And there we go, that's my Criterions, and thanks for watching. Leave any comments you have down below. Definitely go check out Daisuke's channel. I'll leave a link, as I said, in the description below. If you like Criterions, if you like Blu-rays, collecting, that sort of thing, I'm sure you'll find something interesting and enjoyable on his channel. And I'm also going to steal another little thing from his channel. Not that I stole the idea of doing a Criterion collection, but more specifically here is a video he did called Films I Think Should Be in the Criterion collection. So I think that's a really good topic, and one that I'd like to kind of talk about and find some films I think should be in the Criterion collection. So I'm definitely stealing that completely from his channel, and it should raise some interesting discussion and debate, and should be pretty fun. So there we go, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.